Alrighty, good morning, good morning, good morning. And now I think I know why people click on later after, because the notifications just don't go out in time. And it makes me kind of want to wait for everybody. So that I'm not like in the middle of whatever. But you can only, this is what I've noticed, right? Is that I can only be responsible for what I know and what I believe and how I act towards people. I can only control some of that. That's within my power to make some changes, right? I mean, when you understand who you are to God, you realize that there's a lot of things you thought you controlled before that you really don't. There, you absolutely have free will and the ability to manage and change things in your life, but God is amazing, right? Hey Alex, how you doing, my brother? And I can only be like responsible for what I do, right? And that's only with the help of God. Now, I get it that sometimes people have issues with other people, and maybe I'm a friend to that person or what, right? Or friends of both people, Well, I'm not responsible for that other person. If you have some kind of issue with that other person, that's not my fault. It always seems like when I deal with the most amount of work is when like people have an issue with somebody else and then they want to make me responsible for it somehow. I am trying. I mean, I try to, like, I want to glorify Jesus here, and I really feel like I'm failing on a daily basis just because of like the amount of stuff that's like extra, it's like all this extra stuff. And so I talked about my new way of describing my belief on salvation. So let me preface it by saying this, right? We all got saved probably by ourselves. I mean, maybe in a group, I don't know. But I was by myself, and it was an amazing experience, and I'll never forget it. I didn't have a checklist, but of what I have to do or anything like that. I just, once I believed that God was real, everything just started happening. But this is my description. If I had to define it for people, and you guys tell me, right, if this is acceptable, right? Because I think it is. And so, and I prayed about this. This isn't some kind of like willy-nilly thing that I'm just going to throw out there. I say, read the book of Romans, at least the middle chapters. Read 1 Corinthians. Read Ephesians chapter 2. Read the whole book of Galatians. And instead of like picking a ton of verses, just read the whole book of John. And everything about salvation in there, and go straight to God and ask him for guidance and do that stuff. Whatever it says to do, just do it, And you got it. Because my opinion, my wording, my definitions of anything doesn't matter at all. And I think that if you read and understand some of the, at least one book's worth of stuff about salvation, you'll be okay. And if you go straight to God, he's not going to let you down if you keep seeking him honestly. And I know that he's faithful. I know that. And I should have known that from the beginning because of like how I want everyone to be saved. I do. Everyone, like everybody. And it's not like right, far better than we deserve. You're right on that. But it's like not like selling a car where it's like, okay, well, I've got to convince this person that they need God in their life and they're going to do it all in one day. I mean, you plant a little seed and then the increase, and then God grants the increase, right? So it's like, really, God could create a believer right in front of you, and it's so amazing, right? And but it's not selling cars. You know what I mean? It's not selling cars. And so what I have to say about something really doesn't matter, I mean, what matters is me telling the truth, and I'm commanded to love. But that's something that I feel is automatic anyway. I feel like I just love people. And I think I get that for like the love itself that it is coming out of me from God. And I just want everyone to feel that peace and, I mean, literally peace and joy. I mean, I have to bring up the world to talk about it, but I wouldn't even be thinking about it if I didn't do this channel. That'd be the last thing I'd think about is what's going on out there. I mean, once you know it's all lies, who cares, right? Love is important. Yes. Well, and this is one of the ways that I was able to tell people that were frauding me or not being really my friend or not being real, is that God says we'll know each other by how we love. And everything that somebody says to you, even in a harsh, corrective way, will be out of love. If there's no love there, then it's not from God. It's their own thing that they want to do for themselves, for their own glory or for their own convenience. And if there's no love, then because there's no reason for two Christians ever to like have a fight that lasts more than a day. I mean, we should know, right? Because of how much we were forgiven by God and where we're going to be going after this, that nothing here matters to fight over. There is no such thing as a grudge. You know what I mean? Like if you're still mad about something from yesterday, get that out of your heart. Get it out of there, because it's just more energy that you could be focusing on God. And the more you focus on God, the more secure you feel in your salvation, and then the freer you feel. I mean, I don't think I can say it any better than that. I don't think I've ever said it like that before, but yeah, love is important, absolutely. And that doesn't mean that you appease somebody that's doing the wrong thing, just to be soft or whatever. You can really help people out of love, in a way that changes them. And so, it is what it is. But hey, what's crazy about these, what do you call them? The notifications or whatever. It always gets to where, like, watch, it'll jump up like 3 or something like that, right? But like, it seems like everyone's coming in like 20 minutes, like after 20 minutes is gone. And so I don't know how it works or what I could do to combat that. But I always feel like I'm in the middle of something when people come in. I feel like I'm, somehow like I need to catch them up or something. I don't know. So how are you guys doing? What do you guys got going on? You guys just want to kick back and listen, or what do we got going on, man? Because I can't. I can't contain basically how happy I am. I don't know why people don't want to agree and be happy. Because there's always going to be, if we are both really Christian people, there's always something to agree on. Always. I mean, if we agree that the Bible is true and Jesus is the Lord and he's the only way to salvation, boom. We start there. All these splits, man, over nothing, or things that, like, okay, if that's true, good. You know, if it's not, then oh well, right? You're waiting for Jeff. You're waiting on Jeff. Hit me this the bar. What? He says waiting on Jeff. Hit me this the bar. What does that even mean? Mark, that's crazy. I don't even know what you said. Oh, Jeff? Is there a Jeff up in here? I don't know, man. You got hit at a bar? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you said, man. But yeah, there's some stuff that's not it's not worth it, right? I've had somebody tell me that um I forget how they worded it, man. They said something like if the rapture wasn't real, then they would not believe in God anymore. And I'm like, are you crazy? Like, are you like, what would make you want to say that? What? Because like, I don't even think I could fix my lips to say that. Whatever happens is God's business, and it'll happen. No, the unseen bar that you put out, the bar to get on. What does that mean, the bar to get on? Is this something that I don't understand? Oh yeah, you put out a bar, right? That you have to be at this bar, right? Or at this part, or at this. Is that what you mean? Like setting a standard? Maybe I'm not getting it. Why don't I get it? Alex, Alex, I feel so stupid. I don't know. Waiting on Jeff. Hit me the bar to get on. No, the unseen bar that you put out. That's interesting. Like a physical bar that you're getting on with your feet? Or like a bar as in you've raised the bar and set the standard? That would be, is it in Euclidean space? Oh, the link. You want the link? What bar? The unseen bar. You want, oh, you want the link to talk. Okay, you have something to say? All right, hold on. Let me get a link. I have to make it. I didn't make one first. Unseen bar. What is that? You had me over here. It was like I was deciphering Revelation over here. All right. Let me put it out. All right. Oh, Hangouts? Yeah, no, we don't have Hangouts anymore. We don't have Hangouts anymore. We only have StreamYard. And so I can have like 4 up there. I can have 6, but I can't manage more than 4. Just because I gotta worry about if anybody says anything about medical stuff, I gotta dump it. And so that's it's important that I can do that before the delay, because there's a little delay between here and YouTube. And then you never know when you're going to get porn bombed or whatever. And now I'm finally down to where I have no strikes on this channel. I only got a warning, 1 warning. So hopefully that'll fall off soon. But yeah. What have you been up to, Alex? Anything good? I put the thing out there. I didn't know what you meant at the unseen bar. The unseen bar. Hangouts was different. Remember Google Hangouts? Google Hangouts was great. But yeah, I mean, now I'm starting to like, after seeing a couple things by John LeBon and a couple things, from Matt over the years at Quantum of Conscience, right? They're not Christian people, but like they are skeptical in a way that, you know, you got to prove things for them to be true. You know, go back to the beginning of everything. And man, it's really looking like, I mean, I don't know how, if any of you guys have studied this, right? But it's really starting to look like history. It looks like history is just like, I mean, falling apart. Like it was all written in, you know, in 1 century or something, like everything. And there's nothing, no art and no music or no nothing out of like 1,000-year period of time. I mean, it's insanity, right? And you know, I'm starting to wonder if I mean, not starting to wonder, I mean, I've been wondering this for a while, is if any of it is true. Like if any of it is true, and just how far along are we? Like, are we, how long ago was Jesus here? And it's just interesting to me. Sometimes I think that, well, I have a feeling we're in the end for sure. And a lot of that has to do with the astrological signs, because you can't really fake that. Yeah, they're recreating and compressing history. Yeah. And sometimes they change things, right? Like, I mean, they said Columbus discovered America. They taught it to us in school. But there was already people that were living here. So how could you discover a place if there's already people here? If I said like, oh yeah, let's go to France and just discover it. Like, what does that mean? Like, what does that even mean, man? You know what I mean? Like I learned it, and for a lot of years, I guess I would spit that out as the answer if you asked me who discovered America. I even knew the names of the little boats and everything. But yeah, man. This whole world is a giant deception, man. And the more I study, yeah, the more I realize that, yeah, it is. Every single thing is a lie, man. Like I have a friend that works at like In-N-Out Hamburger. It's even a lie how that place goes down, right? Like his job is different than I thought it was, you know? It's pretty crazy, man. It's pretty crazy that nothing is the way you think it is, and people always exaggerate, man. And well, hey, I put a link out, Rob, if you want to click it. Same with you, Alex, and I got Mark up here. Let me get him. Hello, Mark. Welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Far better than I deserve.
That's right. That's right. The unseen bar, right? I didn't know what you meant, man. I was like, oh, what is he saying?
I didn't either. Like I've got a because I've had a couple strokes. Like
oh yeah.
Many things that I will just lose it to. But I know what I'm talking about, and I can picture it, but I can't.
Yeah. Well, then it's not so bad. Then what you came up with is pretty close.
Yeah.
At least you figured it out, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, go ahead, buddy.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm good.
Okay. Well, Jesus is my life.
Yes.
He's the one that makes everything oh so good.
He's the truth, right?
He's the way, the truth, and the life.
That's right. That's right. Well, I always so I'm a Christian, number one. That's what I am, right? And but here's the thing, right? I always add in truther, right? Even though I don't even have to add that, right? Because Jesus is the truth. But I always picture like Jesus is like the ultimate best truther to ever walk the earth, you know?
Well, he is.
You know? And that's the best way I could relate to him is, you know how like when we tell people like all these truth topics and no one wants to listen and then they get upset. I mean, it must have been like that, right?
What did he go through?
Yes, I know it. I know it. I
Yeah.
know it. He loved us so much. He still does.
He even loved the Pharisees, knowing they were going to betray him. Like he
Yeah.
told them, "You're a brood of vipers. Learn something."
He was even praying for them on the cross while he was on the
Mhm.
cross.
Yep,
And see,
God
that's
forgive them, for they know not what they do.
and so that's what I always go to, right? Is like what is the character of God, right? Like when people say, "Oh yeah, if you don't have this secret name of God, right, you're not going to be saved," or some kind of riddle, or you know what I
Right.
mean? Like if you don't have this certain thing, right, it's not going. I'm like, no, that doesn't sound like God to me,
Yeah,
man.
that's fucked up.
Yeah,
God.
it's not right, man, and it's going to hurt
Right.
people saying stuff like that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I don't know. I mean, I guess so now I'm down to just saying, hey, read this book, that book, and that book, and go straight to God. And
Yeah, right.
I guess you can't
But
lose there, right? People got to
you
agree with that,
you have to agree with
and
that, because if you read these books and don't know who God is, you've got a problem.
yeah. Oh, Michael says Pharisees aren't that bad though. It's the scribes and the Sadducees that are the worst. He's got them ranked. It's
Yeah,
the
well,
Sadducees, and then the Sadducees and the scribes, and then the Pharisees.
okay,
Well,
but they're all
but look
fucked.
at yeah, but look at Nicodemus, right? He was like one of the really top
Mm,
Pharisees, and he's like meeting Jesus at night because he's afraid to be seen with him in the day.
it says,
Like
we know
trying to
who
make
you
deals.
are.
Yeah, it's horrible.
He
They
doesn't
should.
even understand what being born again is.
He didn't. He
Nope.
didn't. He didn't understand it. And not only that, but like he was like what one of the number one teachers. This guy was a very stable man. This guy was like
Yeah.
a high level. It wasn't like some guy off the street.
Mm-hmm.
He should have known everything about salvation, everything about moving on. Because remember, they were asking questions like, what if a lady marries this guy and then marries his brother and then his brother and then he dies, and all these absurd questions,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's like, wow, you really like you don't know anything about the afterlife at all if you're
Right.
asking questions like that.
Right.
And so maybe they thought their kingdom was coming on earth, that
Well,
they're supposed to live forever in flesh or something. I don't know.
well, Jeremiah tells you when they come back from Babylon, don't listen to them,
Yeah,
and they shouldn't have.
I dropped the link if Michael wants to come up. If you got a lot to say
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
he's got a
Michael,
lot to
come on
say.
up.
He says Paul, Nick, and Nicodemus were Pharisees. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Paul turned around there. Even Nicodemus, like at the end, right? Because he paid for the tomb, right? The tomb
Mm-mm.
for Jesus. No, he didn't.
No, he didn't. Joseph paid for the tomb.
Oh, but yeah. What did Nicodemus do though? Like, so he made some kind of
I don't
gesture.
know. I have no idea.
I can't remember. I might be hearing one. Oh yeah. Joseph of Arath.
Arimathea.
Yes. Wow, man, that's pretty sharp, man. Because I like to remember something that like that is pretty sharp.
I have all these scriptures, but they're jumbled, and for some
Yeah,
reason, I can pull them out at times. It's weird.
yeah.
It happens.
Like magic.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Like
don't think I don't think you ever forget like what's like on your heart.
I've
I think
had
it just
two
pops out.
strokes,
Yeah, I
and
know, brother.
what I was saying was I've had two strokes, which should have erased it, and it did. But start talking about Jesus, and everything comes back.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It's
It's
beautiful. I
it's
can't wait
amazing.
till we get brand new bodies and we're
Oh.
incorruptible, indestructible. Oh man, because like just to have a body that would last eternity. Like, do you know how well made that thing's got to be? like a
Or
billion
well,
years from now, I'm like, oh yeah, my body's still good,
right.
can't pull a
We
muscle
don't
or a
know what
tendon.
we'll be like though. We'll be like him,
No,
but we don't know what it is that we'll be like. And
oh,
that's
you're
a
right.
mystery to me.
Yeah, you wonder like how like okay, so down here there's outlets for like friendship and then like
Mhm,
intimacy, like things like that, right? But
mhm,
like up there it'll be like way different, right? It'll be some higher level, spiritually higher level of thing, right? And so it's going to be a lot to get used to because there's gonna be a lot of things we don't have to do because
mhm.
we don't have to reproduce or anything like that. So I wonder how that part's gonna go, right? Like, like if you're married or something, or and you go,
You're
how
not
how is that gonna be,
you're not married.
So when you go up there,
Kevin, you're not married.
oh wow.
Yeah.
But I
Like
mean, do you still do you still have memories, or you still have
I
like
don't know.
that closeness?
I don't know. It doesn't really say.
I am excited
I,
about the No More Tears, though.
yes. Yes.
and I'm
No more
excited.
tears is what I'm about.
Yeah, and I know that it bothers some people when I say this, but I mean it sincerely. If I get to wash feet for eternity, that's gonna be just fine with me, and I'll probably sing while I'm doing my work too.
Right. I don't,
Give me that foot.
you know,
and
you are.
you know,
Sing away.
so what else has been going on, man? You've been
Uh,
popping around on other streams and stuff.
no, I pretty much stick to your stream. I have Jeff come in to look at the car because it went to hell. It's drivable, but ugh.
Is it
And
bad? What
man,
is it doing?
overheating.
That sucks.
Yep.
Is it the radiator or is it something deeper
I
than
have no idea. Like it's
that?
something underneath.
I just hope you didn't get any water in the oil. Other than that, you're good. It could
Hmm.
just be a couple few hundred maybe.
Well, we'll
Every
see.
time, every time I had that I started overheating, I was always really irresponsible about it. It was like in my youth. I don't even think I was 20 yet. And every time I had an overheating issue, I always blew a head gasket. Every time.
Mm,
And at that point, you forget about it. You might as well either replace the engine or get another car, or pay some kind of big, couple grand or whatever.
hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Michael put down Matthew 23, verse 23. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you tithe mint and dill and cumin and have neglected the weightier matters of the law, justice and mercy and faithfulness. And you know what I was thinking about the other day?
That's
I was
so
talking
true.
to Michael and I was like, so you know how like the law, right? Like, any law, even like man's law out here, it just kind of tells you like, what's right and what's wrong, kind of.
Mhm.
And so it's just like that tree of knowledge, right? The knowledge of good and evil is the law, right? Like the law gives you the knowledge of good and evil.
Which we should have never had.
Right. Right.
Never.
We should have love.
Hmm. But
And
it's
then
okay because the tree of life's coming.
I know it. I can't wait.
Mm.
That's gonna be a sweet meal.
Oh,
Yes.
mini meals.
Yes.
And on the wedding day, I'm wondering if we're eating or not.
I know,
Are,
man. Is there gonna be like a
are we
big
not?
table? I just want to meet everybody, right? Like, I mean, that's
Oh,
it's gonna be very exciting for me.
dude. All the people of the Bible and the ones that are not spoken of. Oh my God.
I know
A cloud
it.
of witnesses.
It's gonna be overwhelming. Well,
Mm.
I want to meet everybody that I met through here, right? That I haven't been able to see in person. And
Right.
it seems like whenever these guys see each other, right? I get jealous. I'm like, oh man, that's a weakness I have because I want to be with them too. You know.
But it's okay because you will be with them.
Yeah, yeah, I'll be able to see everybody. I'm trying to plant as much seeds as I can, you know. And I know there's a lot of seed planters around here that just keep planting seeds. And I'm just hoping that, you know, as
Um,
many seeds as possible get increase, you know.
that's why I'm far better than I deserve, because it opens up the conversation for Jesus, because they'll be like, no, no, you're okay. Or what do you mean? Except I'm like, Jesus.
Right.
He's like,
Well, like I feel very like blessed or very fortunate to be like to have found out like how to get saved and like to even be in that position was a really, I mean, I don't know how I ended up in that scenario. Like nobody taught me really that much about religion, and like the people I hung out with were not the greatest people probably, and I was going in a downward spiral,
mm-hmm.
and then for everything to like happen the way it did, I'm like, oh wow, it's a miracle that where I'm at right now. It's a miracle. And so I just want everyone else, I want to make it so easy for them, like I don't want it to be hard for anybody.
But it
Yeah,
is. It's the
I
hardest
know
of your life.
I know it. It's hard to get them. It's hard to get somebody to just let go of trying to control everything. You got to let go.
Right.
Trust God.
Told me when my brother died that Jesus took him. So I was 9. So I didn't want anything to do with Jesus.
Yeah.
Some 32 years later or whatever, here he is talking to me, telling me, come to me. You don't have time. And lo and behold, there I went. And there it goes.
Wow,
From the front of the Bible to the back.
that is so amazing.
I was very stressed and everything, but woo, it was wonderful.
That relief when you know that this isn't it, and that there's like a loving, perfect place for you
Mm-hmm.
afterward. You know. Because I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we could have been created by anything, right? A purple monster that wants to eat us, and that could have been his business if he wanted, right? But we're created by a God that can't lie, that loves us, that's always been faithful to us, right? Took our punishment for us, right? I don't
Right?
think he can't give us any more. He's
No,
showing
he
us
can't.
that he'll give us the limit, right?
Mm-hmm. Like humans are on a very interesting scale, because they're the only people that can or cannot pass this test.
Yeah, with the free will, right?
Mm-hmm. Well,
Do you
no.
think that salvation would have been automatic if it wasn't for free will? Like I always look at it as like free will is kind of like God respecting our dignity as a sentient separate thing,
Right.
right? And so I don't ever look at it as like, okay, well, there's all these different riddles to figure out, you know what I mean? But it almost like in a way there is like certain things in your life that you do kind of have to, you know, I don't know how to even describe it, but there's certain
Mm-hmm.
things that could go either way, right? That you
Mm-hmm.
have to be going towards him,
Mm-hmm. He's calling you. It's what's
Yeah,
going on, as far as
yeah.
I understand, anyway.
Mhm.
And you have choices. You can follow or you can not.
I don't see why. I mean, to me, it sounds like the the best deal possible, right? Like I don't
I did.
see any problems with it.
I did too.
Yeah, I mean, I've known people, right? Like I had a friend of mine that he was a decent guy. And I know that doesn't really really matter much, but he was a good guy, right? He lived his life pretty much the same as like I lived, and I lived a pretty conservative kind of life,
Right.
And I told him about God. I'm like, man, it's real. It's actually real, man. Like we can move on from here. This isn't everything. And he said, if he goes, I'm a good person. If God doesn't like me, then he said the F word, right? And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
what? I'm like, why? How could you talk like that? Like, all you have to do is believe, right? You
Mm-hmm.
don't even have to change your life that much, you know? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what's the stubbornness involved with that? Like, what do you have to be feeling inside to not want to go 1 inch towards God, you know?
You have to be called. God calls everyone, but a lot of people just don't answer.
Yeah.
And
It
um,
it, it
we
kind of makes you
have,
feel more secure to know that.
well, yeah, and we have a group, like a camping group that Ashley goes to, and the boys, and I've gone once. God, it was horrible, but it was cool too. But she's on the pirate ship, part of a major thing, and she's part of the pirate ship, and she's a Christian, and everyone knows it, but they're all pagans and different, like different varieties of things. They get along.
Yeah.
Like that's how we're supposed to be.
Yeah, but it's weird that like I think that if everybody knew the truth from from birth, right? If there wasn't all these layers of lies, I think everybody would want basically the same thing inside that, like
Oh yeah, but there is the truth, and it's in a book, and it's up to you to find it.
yeah, yeah.
Like God wrote a letter, a really good letter.
But you know what I love the most about it is that now that we have AI and all these algorithms and this internet, this knowledge of all things, and it's flying, all this information flying through the air, right? The cloud,
Mm-hmm.
and so the devil has all this, right? And God has one book, and God's gonna win,
Yep.
already
Yep.
won, right?
Yes.
And so it's just perfect, right? It's perfectly
Mm-hmm.
inverted, that the devil's probably going to plug into all this technology or whatever, and it's horrible, man.
Michael, you live a boring life? I don't think so.
Yeah, he's always traveling, and I,
Mm-hmm.
well, in his state at least. I've
Mm-hmm.
been in the same spot here for 10 years. For 10 years, I just kind of like wherever I go, I just grow roots.
Yep. Well, we're supposed to. Imagine the Christians, like the 12 of them, like after Judas, when Paul appeared, the 12 of them went all around Jerusalem, and then they went all around north, south, east, and west. Like they were carrying the gospel, and people believed it.
That's beautiful.
It is.
They didn't even have a New Testament to show anybody. Like they had to just believe them what they were saying.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can take the Old Testament and point it out.
Yeah, yeah. And plus they had the Holy Spirit back then,
Mm-hmm.
real strong,
Mm-hmm.
healing people and doing miracles.
This world rewards people who follow materialistic life, which leads them away from God. We can't serve two masters. Yes, yes, Rob.
Yeah.
Can't serve two masters.
It's like it's weird. It's weird that the amount of money that somebody has is like some sort of trophy. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's crazy, right? I mean, there's people in the world that don't have enough, and if you have a whole bunch, like billions or something, that just means you don't care,
Yep,
you
exactly.
know? I mean, to me, that's what it says to me because they said they said that Donald Trump could, with half of his money, he could fix every kid with a cleft lip, right? To help them, so that they're better to get employment and stuff like that when they're older. They're deformed, right? He can fix
Mm-hmm.
every one of those kids and still have half his money back, and it wouldn't affect him nothing. You know,
Mm-hmm.
there's no difference between 7 billion and 2 billion or whatever, or however much he has. I mean,
It
that's crazy.
it is, and I I don't know what to believe as far as these people go.
Right, right. Could just be characters, man. The money could be just fake, some fake number, and he just walks around and signs for things or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they probably just tell these guys that, like, okay, from now on, you get free stuff. We'll write whatever we want about you,
Right.
you know, and you just go with the flow or die. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just like, I mean, I was even talking about, even if somebody like my soul, even if my soul wasn't on the line, right? If someone just came up to me and said, you know what, here's $1 billion, no strings attached, I don't want it, man.
Oh, I would
You,
take
you would take the
it.
money.
Oh, I would, because I'm gonna be putting around like $10,000 in a backpack packed with stuff, and I'm gonna be handing it out.
Nice. Yes. That'd be cool.
Mm-hmm. It
You
depends
know?
on what you're doing with the money.
Yeah, because if you're on the street and somebody hands you 10 grand, you should be able to get off the street.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you don't, that's on you, man.
Yep. Well, they're on the street. They got 10
Yeah.
grand. Figure it out, man.
Yeah,
Like, have a happy day. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, God.
that's right. That's right. I
And
mean, just the fact that, I mean, just the fact that we're reconciled back to God where we could be with him again, right? Like,
mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just, I mean, it's truly, I mean, I mean, it's truly amazing. I mean, it really is. When you think about
It is.
it, like, you know how incredibly humble that is of God to do that?
I like God just fathoms me. Like his
Right, right. It's
thoughts
amazing. Right?
from the beginning were for Lucifer and all of this stuff. Like, wait a minute. So you sat down and thought about all this stuff and did it anyway. Okay. Mm, I
Yeah.
don't get it, but okay.
Well, I'll say this, right? There are some things that are that are definitely weird and wacky, right? That I
Mm-hmm.
would probably ask if we don't get to know, like when we get up there. If we don't know that already, I would like to ask some questions.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that when we get there, we're gonna know that it's fair. Like it'll be like we'll know why everything happened. And
Mm-hmm.
see, I think because like the someone explained it to me like this, right? The serpent in the garden wasn't evil to start out with. He just went evil, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
so God even respected like his free will choice. And
Right.
so that's extremely tolerant of somebody that's going to be like that big of an impact. But
Well, he's the serpent.
yeah,
Still has to answer to God.
amen, amen to that.
Because
Rob says the
so,
narcissist. Rob says the narcissistic millionaire lawyer society looks up and envies, but the poor old lady who volunteers 80 hours a week for free is ignored. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
yeah. I mean that does happen like that, you know, and it's unbelievable, right? Like there are so many people that um I've seen so many people at food banks that give like so much of their time and nobody even knows that they're doing it or knows their name or anything, right? There's
Right.
nothing in it for them, right? And you know, maybe the church people get to know them a little better, but um,
Well, they're
that,
doing
that
it for God.
that's right, that's right. And I bet you that that lady that donates those hours feels a ton better than that narcissistic millionaire, unless he's like you know some kind of reprobate where nothing hurts him anymore. Uh, you know, I
He's a,
can't even imagine.
he's a reprobate.
I mean, could you imagine some of these people they can do bad stuff and they don't feel bad for it at all.
Oh, I was one of them.
See, I've never been like that. I don't know how to do that. Like, I've done bad things, of course, right? But
Mhm.
I always felt bad about it.
Right.
I'm like, oh, what did I do, man? Oh, I gotta try to pay this back, man. Well, one day I will. I never did, but you know,
Mhm.
it's like one day I'll pay these people back, you know.
Yep.
And you know, it's just a crummy feeling. And so, if it wasn't for like forgiveness and then learning how to like, you know, try to make some kind of amends, that, you know, just for my own personal self, right? But Jesus and
Mhm.
how He forgives, it's like those are gone, and they don't have to
Right.
weigh me down anymore. You know, I can just
Exactly.
do good. You know.
It's the mercies are new every day. Pick up your cross and follow him.
Yeah, I love that.
Because the past is past. You have what is now.
Yeah, you're right. Sin
Mm.
no more, right?
Yep. And if you do, dust off and keep going.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's so beautiful. All righty, my friend. It's time to hit that old dusty trail.
Okay.
Thank you
I
so
love.
much for coming on, Mark. This is a good talk with you. I really appreciate it.
Yep.
Praise Jesus for his sacrifice and his grace. All glory to God because he deserves it. Please pray for the children. Please pray for anyone being victimized. Please pray for each other. It's important. And Lord willing, I will see you guys tonight at, let's say, 5 p.m. California time, 8 p.m. on the East Coast.